The organization representing Canada's small and medium-sized businesses has released its list of top priorities heading into this fall federal election. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business represents many of those companies, which account for more than half of Canada's private sector workers. Small and medium-sized businesses have also, it's fair to say, had their highs and lows with the present Trudeau government. Dan Kelly is the president of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business, and he's joining me now from Toronto. Dan Kelly, thanks for taking the time.
Happy to do it.
Okay, first of all, you've compiled this list, what you're calling the small business platform for the federal election. It's a wish list of what you'd like to see the next federal government do for your members. What are just a few of the biggest priorities?
There's a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, there have been all sorts of cost pressures added to the shoulders of small business owners over the last couple of years, and a lot of our recommendations centering around scaling that back. So, for example, the CPP expansion, we're asking the government to take a break and actually put that on pause for a while. We're also suggesting that the carbon tax be put on hold and negotiated a new plan negotiated with provincial governments. And also some of the small business tax changes that were introduced in 2017. We would like to see some of those changed, particularly the idea of providing a full exemption, the ability for people, business owners, to split income with their spouse.
Okay, let's look at one of them, please. CPP. Some of the public polling has shown, though, that a majority of Canadians, not necessarily small business owners, but a lot of Canadians would like to see CPP continue to be increased and premiums continue to put up a bigger war chest for the Canada Pension Plan.
Absolutely, and I understand why. I mean, who wouldn't want to get more Canada Pension Plan benefits when they retire? Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I think the piece that has been missing from the public is the fact that those benefit increases are going to be phased in over 40 years. The premium increases are right away. They're happening over the next 7 years, the first installment in January 1st, 2019. But anybody who is 55 plus is getting almost zero from CPP expansion. But many of them believe that they're going to be getting more money when they retire. And that's I think, a little bit of a stretch.
Okay.
I will say that there are some things, though, that we think the current government can get behind, including building on their proposal in the 2019 budget to allow family businesses to pass their business from one generation to the next without getting clobbered in taxation. We had Liberal MP Emmanuel Dubourg present that a couple parliaments ago as a private member's bill, and the 2019 budget did open the door to this, and we're really hoping that we see that as an election promise in the Liberal platform. That would certainly resonate well with small business owners across the country.
Okay, in my introduction, I said it's no secret that you've been opposed to several, or a lot of the major changes that were brought in by the Trudeau government, and you are asking, you said it, you're asking for the rollback of a lot of those changes, including income splitting. There have been more strict rules put into income splitting with spouses for business owners. You're asking for rollback of that. You're asking for a rollback of some of the changes with regards to passive investment tax benefits. How likely is it, you fought this battle for the last 3 years with the Trudeau government, how likely is it that the Trudeau government would reverse itself on that?
Well, it remains to be seen whether the government would announce changes to their own package of reforms. But look, I mean, governments routinely do listen to what's going on and make changes accordingly. They may not resolve to change the entire package, but provide some relief into some measures. They've done a couple of steps of that already, taking out some of the worst edges of this. So we are optimistic that all political parties, including the Liberals, will be able to adopt some elements of the platform that we've put together. In fact, during the last election campaign, it was the NDP that was the first party to commit to reducing the small business corporate tax rate to 9%. That was followed by the Conservatives putting in place legislation to do just that. The Liberals committed in writing to do it and then canceled it and then brought it back again. The Green Party, Elizabeth May, also committed to doing that. So we think that there's a lot of things that we can get all four major political parties behind as we go forward to the 2019 campaign.
Okay, another interesting priority point you put is that you're asking for the parties to commit to eliminating the federal deficit within 5 years. That sounds to me like an endorsement of what Andrew Scheer has just said last week. He's just changed his promise from getting rid of it in 2 years to getting rid of it within 5 years. I don't see any of the other federal parties right now committing to that kind of timeline for eliminating the federal deficit.
No, but to be honest, we've been pushing for this. This has been a consistent pre-budget recommendation that we have been making. We made that same recommendation during the Harper days. We've made that same recommendation throughout this term of the Trudeau government. we have been entirely consistent. Small business owners know that today's deficits are tomorrow's taxes. We don't expect a government to be able to get rid of a deficit in one fell swoop, in one fiscal year. But certainly over a term of office, we believe that we need to get back to that. And our members have been endorsing that kind of an approach for almost a decade.
Okay, how many members do you have?
We have 110,000 small and medium-sized firms as members of CFIB. All of them are independently owned and operated. We don't have any publicly traded corporations as members of the Federation.
So with this sort of scorecard, if you will, you're going to send out sort of a political, you call it a platform. You're going to send this out to all your members, and they will then be able to judge their federal parties and federal candidates by these criteria?
Absolutely. We send out a list of questions that we believe our members should be asking their candidates when they come vying for their support on their doors or to their businesses. And that helps form. We certainly don't tell our members how they should vote. Business owners don't need me to tell them how they should vote. And we have a very diverse membership that has traditionally supported a variety of parties in election campaigns. But look, there is a lot of business owners that are quite worried about where things are going right now. A lot of issues that need to be resolved in the weeks and months ahead. So there's a high degree of interest, I think, coming up into the 2019 election campaign. One thing I should add, though, as well, is that small businesses are a pretty big force. We have 110,000 members, but if you include those that are self-employed in Canada, there's anywhere between, StatsCan measures, between 2.5 and 3.5 million Canadians who are either business owners with paid staff or self-employed. It's a pretty big group, and I think any party would want to make sure that part of their election platform appeals to this group.
Okay, Dan Kelly, thanks very much for explaining your platform for us. Thanks a lot.
Happy to do it.